So my name is Professor Arif Herekar, and I'm basically a professor of neurology, as I've told you always, and I do adult and child neurology. But this very video has really nothing to do with my profession. It's got something to do with my passion. I've been very passionate about travels. Today we'll be talking about the aero adventures, the adventures in the air. I've been absolutely always very adventurous. Wherever I've gone, wherever I've traveled, whomever I've traveled with, always told them that there has to be an element of adventure. And this adventure has taken me to various parts of the world. I'm not really going to go into detail, but I'm going to tell you more about my aero adventures, adventures in the air. So I've been flying with several sports. Now, aero sports has several varieties of games. For example, you can be flying in a microlight. Now, microlights are small gliders, two-man gliders, and they can fly in pretty safe environment. For example, if the weather is bad, they will not be able to fly. But I was able to use a microlight for almost an hour and a half. And I flew over one of the best waterfalls in the world. Now, this waterfall is called the Victoria Waterfall. And Victoria Waterfalls is one of the biggest waterfalls. It stretches over 1 kilometer. And this place is absolutely stunning. When you look at it from the air, from an aerial point of view, you can see the entire waterfall. You can see the Zambian part, you can see the Zimbabwean part, because this waterfall lies between two important countries, Zambia and Zimbabwe. And I was able to spend some quality time looking at the fall, looking at the mist that arises from the fall, and of course, with difficulty, remotely, was able to see some very few animals, but they were far and few. However, my main focus was on the aerial view of this amazing, incredible, exciting, enthralling waterfall, the Victoria Waterfalls. I have enjoyed this from the air, and I've always felt I should go back to this beautiful fall. Together with this, the other aero adventure that I have been doing are the gliding or paragliding, as you call them. Now, paragliding is two types. You can have a simple paraglider, you can have paramotor paragliding. Now, the simple form of paragliding I've done in two places. One of this was New Zealand, the beautiful town called, it is a heaven on earth as they call it, it's called Queenstown. I was able to go all the way to the peak of this town, to the highest point of the town. It was called the Corona Peak. And this peak was a peak where you can see the beautiful city of Queenstown. So from this peak, we were able to paraglide down, and this was an experience. I must tell you that when we started this paragliding in Queenstown, the weather was not great. But I'm so keen on traveling, I'm so passionate, I'm so adventurous, and I do not fear, and this is what has taken me around the globe. And so we were able to make this a very, very memorable experience, even in the adverse weather. We finally landed, and this was another great adventure, paragliding in Queenstown. Now, from this Queenstown, I will take you to Pokhara. Now, let me tell you, Pokhara is a beautiful small town. It is not very, very far from the Himalayan mountain range and, of course, Mount Everest. I was able to take this flight with a Polish young boy, and this was another stunning adventure. We flew for a long time. We were able to talk to each other. We were able to relax. And in fact, he was so good that he wanted me to do some acrobats. And I said, well, a milder form acrobat is possible because it is never easy. You're in the height. But of course, it's the most encouraging and inspiring thing was we had a lot of other paragliders who were not very far from us. So with experienced hands and a paraglider like this Polish young boy, I was able to relax at a height that normally the paragliders take, see the landscape, which you will be able to see some of these stunning landscape, Himalayan mountain on one side, Pokhara on one side. We were in Nepal in the small town called Pokhara, and this was another great experience. I have also flown a plane, and this was in one of the towns of Texas, the U.S. I was literally flying the plane with a guide, with a co-pilot who was of course guiding me, but this was another personal experience. One of the other enterprising experiences, flying experiences, are those that I've encountered in from a small town called Talkeetna. Now, Talkeetna is almost like an hour and a half drive from one of the largest cities in Alaska, and that's called Anchorage. I went to Talkeetna, I was driven to Talkeetna. I used the Talkeetna air taxi from the small airport in Talkeetna, flew right over. Amazing experience. I mean, you really need to be there. I mean, these experiences cannot be felt when you listen to them. You have to actually be on the location to feel the experience. So I flew over the Alaskan tundra, the Alaskan mountain range, and landed on the base camp of one of the highest peaks mountains in North America. This is called Mount McKinley. It was a most overwhelming experience, and these experiences are always memorable. They are a token of memory, a token of remembrance. You know, with such difficult situations like COVID nowadays, and the cost of the travel, and the age, the energy, the output, all this is needed for such adventurous travel. I'm glad I've done these, and I'll continue to tell you more about these experiences. But before I end, one of the other things that I was talking about is the paramotor gliding or paramotor flying. Now, these paramotors are, of course, paragliders who have a big motor behind them, and there's a huge fan. So it pushes the paraglider, and the difference between the simple paraglide and the paramotor gliding is that the paramotor, you can fly from any flat surface. You don't have to have a height, and it takes you. It is just like taking off in a plane. It takes you from the flat surface up in the sky, and this paramotor flying over Antalya, one of the beautiful cities of Turkey, was another extremely enterprising and enthralling experience. You can see me flying with a guide. I was flying tandem, and most of these guides are absolutely friendly. They are trained. They are very highly informative. They make you very comfortable and composed when they're flying. So I was able to take a long flight along the coastal areas of Antalya. As you can see, this was another flight experience to remember forever again. I hope you have enjoyed these flying adventures that I have encountered, and you will learn from them. I must tell you that you have to be strong, you have to be brave, you have to prepare yourself, and you have to know what the weather is like, what the area is like, what the environment is like. And if you have all this information before you fly, it will make your travels very, very comfortable and cool. Do subscribe to my channel, and if you want to make a comment, do write a small comment so that we can improve on our following videos. You should write a comment under the video on the YouTube and press the like icon. Thank you.